Hey guys, this is Musings with Mavri. I'm Mavri, and right now we're going to be looking at episode 3 of Bunny Girl Senpai. So I went back a little bit and went back to the first episode and took a look at the journal, and it turns out that it was dated May 29th. So this is after, what Sakuda and Mai are currently experiencing. I believe it's May 25th, maybe 26th right now. So we still have about 3 days before we see the scene from the very opening of the first episode. So my theory was wrong, I guess, where I don't think they met before now, or at least maybe even if they did, it had nothing to do with the first episode because that's obviously happening after what's currently happening. So, anyways, let's just see what happens next, and hopefully we can maybe shed some light on the situation on why some people know of her and some people don't. Okay, so starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So they really just slept the night. Really? I have the same question. Really? I remember her condition lasts for a few days, right? Oh, and here's the OP. Um, yeah, I'll skip the opening as always, and I'll see you guys in a while. And we're back. The world without you. Okay, so all the students can't see. Find. Hmm. But can you guys see her? atmosphere we have at our school. No, you two observed her. So you're not going to sleep? This... So is this school something special? But she's a celebrity! Okay, we probably shouldn't... We probably shouldn't, you know, delve too much into the science of this. This whole premise is ridiculous anyways, but I feel like I said, it's more of a... probably some kind of dialogue on modern society. Okay. So here's his, the journal that we eventually see in the first episode. So he's gonna write everything. And then he went to sleep? Or no, he didn't sleep. How can you take the test, though? Yeah. Mm. He's losing it. So she's... What? What? Seriously? But... Oh my god. Okay, so this is the 28th. And we see him forgetting on the 29th, so this is his last day. But seriously... So she thinks that he's not sleeping to cram. Second one. Well, actually, never mind. Could it be Shoko? Okay, so she knows. But typically it only lasts for like a few days, right? Okay, so this is going back to the first episode. Why are all the characters in this anime so well designed? Oh my god. Yeah. This is the exact same thing as the first episode. Redacted. Ooh. Damn, these... Racist. Alright. Your love? Whoa. Yeah, why love? You've known her for like a week. That's a little bit too cheesy, don't you think? No. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Oh, wow. Just like that? So yeah, I guess this is sort of like a dialogue on, you know, social norms. Wait, but this is only the third episode. How? Don't tell me he's just going to like shout. Oh man. Daisuki? Suki. Well, this is... Oh my god, this is getting hard to say. What the hell? So, you know, if this doesn't work, he's going into a mental institute. Oh, dang it. So shove a Pocky up his nose? No, are they gonna kiss? What I'm more interested is, do others see her yet? Come on, less chatting, more doing. So do they see her or not? What? I agree. True. I agree. And that was it? Wow, there is so much to chew on in this episode. Alright, I'm gonna gather my thoughts, and then I'll see you guys in just a second. It looks like there's a little bit more right after the ending song, so let's start in 3, 2, 1, go. Of course, it's only episode 3. Alright, so that was episode 3 of Bunny Girl Senpai. And, well, it seems that the situation has resolved itself regarding Mai already. And it turns out, so it seems like this is going to be one of those more episodic, well, I'm not sure if episodic is the correct way to say it. It's just that it seems that, judging from the very ending, there's going to be lots of different characters, probably different girls, whom are all going to face some kind of social issue, I guess. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be a social issue right now, since, you know, this one with the adolescent syndrome and whatnot, it seems to be based on, you know, social norms, right? So, in Sakura's case and his sister's case, it was, you know, due to bullying, and then bullying created scars on their body as well. In Mai's case, you know, she was ignored due to, you know, reading the atmosphere, and this resulted in her actually disappearing. So it seems that right now they have a theme of speaking out against social norms. So that's what I'm taking out from this right now. And speaking of which, yeah, I thought this was going to be like, you know, an overarching storyline throughout the entire season. So it wasn't that. I was quite shocked when we saw that, hey, the situation resolved itself in this episode. But so how did I think? Uh, I definitely liked the interactions. You know how Sakura was desperately trying to stay awake, and then Mai knew of it, and then she basically gave him sleeping pills to force him to sleep. And, you know, I thought it was pretty touching. You know, if you think that we've really only known these characters for 3 episodes without any um, very much meaningful interactions between them, you know, I felt bad. I felt a little bit sad. It definitely wasn't enough to, you know, it's not quite enough for me to, like, say, cry tears or something, because we just don't know them that well yet. But definitely it was a sad moment for sure. Uh, but I think therein lies the biggest problem I have with it right now. Like, everything is just too fast paced. Everything feels so rushed. Like, come on, Sakura, they've barely known each other, Mai and Sakura, for like what, 1 week, and already they're like deeply in love with each other and whatnot. They went on 1 date. Okay, I I generally don't feel like this is very realistic, if you can say that. It is an anime, so we have to keep that into take that into mind. You know, the situation itself is pretty ridiculous, but I just feel like everything's moving along too quickly, right? Um, so yeah, that's basically what I felt about this whole, at least this whole my arc. And also, you know, why was Sakura able to remember her? Like, was there something particular that he did? Or, you know, just by... I mean, it can't... Or is it just that because he had some meaningful interaction with Mai, so that in turn jolted his memories? So it's saying that maybe Mai did not have any meaningful interactions with other people, including, you know, her coworkers, other students, or even her mom, and so that's the reason why all the rest of them weren't able to remember Mai. I guess maybe the point is that, so it's actually not that hard to remember her. It's just that you need to have some meaningful interaction, and that is, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense if I think about it that way, because the entire reason that she disappeared is because she didn't really interact with other people, right? People ignore her. Even though, again, I feel like that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, what kind of school or what kind of setting would completely ignore you just because, you know, you happen to you happen to enroll in school 1 year later than everyone else? Like, that just doesn't happen. Besides, she's a celebrity, right? If a celebrity was to show up at your school or your workplace, you know, tomorrow as one of your coworkers or classmates, you would be freaking out, right? Or at least you would be very conscious of that person. You wouldn't just ignore them, right? You know, maybe some people who are shy, or maybe they're not just, they don't care, sure, then it's whatever, but you wouldn't purposely ignore them. So I feel like that whole setting is also a little bit contrived, but I guess it's for the sake of the storyline. So anyways, in any case, the two of them make a pretty cute couple. Although, since the next one is also a a girl, you know, I don't think they've mentioned her name yet, but I believe it's the girl who Sakura met in the park, right? It seems that the next episode is going to be focusing on her story then. Um, and no, it seems like Sakura fell on that girl. So probably this is going to be evolve into sort of like a rom-com, a romance comedy, maybe even going to harem route. Although it seems pretty set that, even if it does evolve into a harem, it's probably going to be one of those fake harems, and Sakura's just going to end up with Mai in the end anyways. At least it's, yeah, I would say there's a pretty big possibility that that's how this whole thing is going to end. Um, yeah, and speaking of the next girl, uh, what's her thing? Oh, Laplace's demon. Yeah, I believe that's how you pronounce it, right? Laplace's demon. So Laplace's demon is basically it's basically a figurative, a figurative representation of determinism. Basically, where I believe it's where, if somebody was to know everything that has always happened before, as well as, oh, actually, it's more like a physics problem, right? So if, for instance, if so this pen right here, right? If I know right now that it's at this position, and I also know the speed at which it's moving forward by, and the velocity, which direction it's in, I can correctly deduct that this pen is going to end up over here, right? So because I know the past, I know the future. So cause and effect, basically. So that is the entire thing of Laplace's demon. So if somebody was to be able to know everything that happened before and their trajectory, I guess, velocity, something like that, then they would be able to know everything in the future. So then do you have, I mean, since it uses demon, I'm guessing that it's probably also a theological problem, and probably something with free will. Is everything already predetermined, or do you actually have free will over your actions, and the future is unknown? I guess I'm assuming that's what Laplace's demon is at its core is about. Probably, you have the scientific side, and then you have the theological side. So how can that relate to a real world situation? I'm guessing you can predict the future. Yeah, that seems to make sense if I think about it. So because you probably, I'm assuming that the next girl, she knows the future, right? Because in some way or another, because she already knows everything, how it's going to happen, so there's no more free will. And oh, and also a prerequisite, so she can't change the future, right? Because if she can change the future, then it's not determinism. You can do something to change that. Or you can say you can change that, but then you also know what will happen if you change it. Is that also part of determinism? Hmm. But in any case, that's my theory for right now. So the next girl is going to be able to predict the future, and that ties in with Laplace's demon. So, like I said, if you look at, and also if you look at the key visuals and as well as the OP and ending, it seems that there's going to be a lot more different characters as well. All girls, it seems. So, like I said, it's probably going to move forward in, the first 3 episodes we had Mai. The next maybe 1, 2 to 3 episodes is going to be another girl, and then a few episodes after that is going to be another girl, and then ultimately, probably the last girl would be that Shoko girl, the one who helped Sakura in the time of need. And then we would get some big finale of some sort. Or maybe it's never ending. We don't know. I mean, it's derived from a light novel, so typically those are pretty long. So I'm not sure if it already has a definitive ending yet. But in any case, I it's a very interesting anime. I'll give it that, because how can I say it? Like, it's not exactly something where I look at it and go, "Whoa, this is the best anime ever," right? But I like the characters, I like the settings, I like the interactions, and I feel like the story is intriguing enough that I want to know more. I think that's the main thing I'm getting out of this Bunny Girl Senpai right now. I want to know more. I want to know what happens to the next girl. What kind of pseudoscience they're going to try to wrap around this girl's problems. And also, I'm curious whether it's going to tie into, like I mentioned, all the different kinds of social norms, especially in regards to people going through adolescence, like, middle schoolers, high schoolers, and heck, maybe even college. Early, basically the teenage periods. Um, Although, if that was the case, then I'm curious how knowing about the future is something. Mm, See, that's where the theory doesn't make sense. So, anyways, I hope either way, right? It's either going to be like every single one of these characters are sort of like a dialogue on social norms or on teenage problems, or it's my other theory where they're going to be talking about the future. One of those theories should be correct. So, yeah. And closing thoughts, interesting. I wouldn't quite say that it's my anime of the season yet. Uh, Personally, I still like Zombieland Saga more. It just, it just fits my tone more. I love the humor, the absurd humor in that. But, no, this one, I can see why people rate it so highly right now. It's definitely interesting. Although, hmm. Well, in any case. That was episode 3 of Bunny Girl Senpai. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Leave any comments below. What do you think of my theories? Or if you want me to react or talk about something else, just let me know. And if not, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.